Hello, hi, this is Jeffery Kin, Executive Director of Sarasota Rising and the Living Arts Festival, with Visit Sarasota's Behind the Masterpiece, where we get to talk to individuals in our community that make our area the cultural coast that it is. And our guest today is someone who I don't know, so you're going to get to know him along with me. Hello, Charles Miano.
Hello, Jeffrey.
How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You've got a lot of wood behind you. There's a lot of there's a very
I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy.
Wood energy there behind you. We love for our people.
Nice old palette.
Yeah. Well,
you said behind the masterpiece, so these create masterpieces.
That is that. Well, with the right artist. So are you the right artist that's going to create? So. Tell us what you do, Mr. Charles Miano, and then we'll go into your organization. But what do you do? Because it's unique.
So I'm a classical realist painter. I'm just a painter, just an artist. I view it myself as a craftsperson. So I love to study the old masters, and I love using the old techniques, the old materials. I make my own paints. I make my palettes. I use 19th century easels. So I'm just kind of a person who was born in the wrong century.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. It sounds like you're in the wrong. So this is something that's kind of unique. I've never really heard of this. Do you have friends around the world that are doing this?
We're a small community, but right now there's a kind of a groundswell of awareness and a callback to craftsmanship and classical art principles. And there is a group of artists that is kind of emerging. I have a studio where I teach in the old ways of the apprenticeships, and there's only about 100 of these studios in the world right now. And I try to share what I've learned over the years to people who would like to preserve this art and keep it alive.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. When you said you make your own paint, I almost fell out of my chair. You can do that?
Yeah, we take the natural pigments and we grind them, and I mean, it's fun to do, and I love using the highest quality stuff when I can. It's just very simple: linseed oil and some whatever. If you have ochres and that which comes from clay and stones that are ground, we can use that. But I'm a big fan of going to museums and studying old masterworks. So even when I do drawings, I'm using old materials such as sanguine or red chalks and things like that.
So how long have you been in our area? How long have you been around town here?
So I've almost 20 years.
Oh my gosh,
which
great.
Is crazy because time goes by so fast.
Yeah.
And I've had the atelier or the academy for about 18 years as a nonprofit. So quite some time.
I did.
Although time flies.
Yeah. I noticed that mianoacademy.org is how people can find you, mianoacademy.org. And so I was like, that was one of my questions. I'm assuming that you have a little 501c3 that you're running.
Yeah.
And that you're able
we're a nonprofit.
Okay.
I have, my art, which is at charlesmiano.com, and then the academies .org, where we've been a non-for-profit since 2007, and been in the cultural coast here. And it's interesting because people come from all over the country to come study here, because it's not the type of training you can get just everywhere. It's not like a college art program. It's more like apprenticeship, a crafts.
Like in the old days.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the model anyway.
Interesting. Well, obviously it worked. Did you study under someone who kind of helped
I
get you where you
did.
are?
Yeah, I've studied under many artists over the years. All of them were really very strong craftsmen and painting in the realist tradition. So I studied a bit in Italy. I studied in New York and Philadelphia. I spent some time with artists who are very famous. But many different artists. Like I search out those artists that really have devoted themselves to this language of painting. And nature, I feel, is that language. So when you think about it, what we see, and if the more skilled we are, we can become like an unblocked flute through which our breath passes, and we can impart that spirit and consciousness in a very tangible way for people to easily understand what we're doing.
Wow. Wow. So where does your inspiration come from? What inspires you? Because I've seen some of your work online. I mean, you have a beautiful website. It's very navigable, and the images are really wonderful. I saw some still lifes. But what inspires you to do what you do?
I would say that if there's one thing that motivates me or is a part of my motivation, I like to tell stories, even if it's in a portrait in someone's face or through the figure, communicating emotion and deeper symbolic messages through realism or naturalism. And a part of that is the light. So it almost sounds kind of cliche, but I really am chasing the light. And when we paint, we can do things that cameras can't do. We can emphasize things that cameras can't capture because the human eye is much more advanced than a camera. There are elements like time, light, space, the atmosphere, and a general effect of the light, which gives it art a noumenal quality, perhaps, or some might say even a spiritual quality. So for me, I just try to humble myself before nature.
Wow.
And if I'm painting a still life, I'm sure the elements in that still life, like for instance, in the Dutch Golden Age, would have elements that represent symbolic parts of whoever commissioned the piece. But essentially, the light reveals it all. And that I think people gravitate toward paintings that have that, because it's almost like here in Sarasota, we go to the beach to see the sunset. There's flocks of people watching the sun go down, and if we can capture a little bit of that in painting, that's magical.
Wow. I love you. You have such a great way of your storytelling skills are excellent. So thank you for this. This is I'm getting a little bit of an education here, as well as entertainment. Have you always been a painter though? Have you always been that? Were you that kid that drew on everything, or
I loved art. Growing up, my father is very creative. He was in a rock band, and he was in theater, things like that. And I grew up with that encouragement. And he would even paint, from time to time. So introduced me to that. And then we'd go and we'd travel and we'd go into museums. And I fell in love with Rembrandt. A lot of other people like when I was a teenager, I was very much into kind of abstract
Of course.
expressionism, which was fun. But I kind of more and more gravitated toward the old masters. So uh, that really encouraged me to pursue it. I didn't think anybody knew how to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And really, there wasn't many people at
Wow,
all.
wow, wow.
So I would seek out these artists and spend a little bit of time with them. I spent some time with an artist in New York who was associated with the Rembrandt Research Project, and he trained me how to make paints and do all these things. And I was discovering it in my early 20s. So I didn't get serious about learning to paint until my early 20s. And fortunately found people to share with me that you can learn how to do this. It takes a lot of practice and dedication.
You need a certain skill set. Not anyone's going to be able to sit down and do what you do. But these people did these people understand how important their knowledge was? Did they realize how vital it is that they share this information with you?
You know, some did really wanted to share as part of their goal in life to keep this style alive. And others were very underground. Nobody's ever heard of them. And, you know, they were just operating out of their studio. So, yes and no. Certain individuals did encourage me to share it, which is why when I moved to Sarasota years ago, people I was renting a studio and someone came in and said, "Oh, I would love to learn this. Can you teach me?" And then someone else. And then before you know it, there's a group. And then we had to get a larger space.
Wow.
You know, so it's very organic how this happens, because it's almost like you have to there's people who are looking for it,
right?
You know, like, "Oh, I didn't know you could learn this,
right.
But I've always loved this," you know. So it is a passion of mine because I enjoy it so much. So I'm very fortunate that I can make a living doing what I really enjoy.
Yeah, yeah. Where is your space located? Do you have an open classroom?
Yeah, we're on Northgate, 1915 Northgate.
Northgate, okay.
So it's right on 301. We're right off 301.
Okay.
So you just go right into our parking lot.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have hours that people can come by, or is this basically a space of learning, or is there a gallery? Is there what have you got?
Yeah, this is we call it an atelier. It's kind of modeled when people walk in. It's like going back in time. You got casts everywhere. And so Monday through Friday, we're open. Students are here full time. I keep about 12 to 15 students, and we draw from everything, you know, from life, from the antique. And they're just drawing and painting constantly. So this is the open space that I have. I also have a personal studio at home.
Well, you're already going to one of my favorite places in the world, and that is Art Ovation Hotel. I have been friends with them. I know the owners, and I know Robin Hole there, who's incredible. Robin is, I mean, she makes that space come alive. I mean, that hotel was built. She has made it what it is, and I love what she does. But you're going to be spending some time with her, I've heard.
Yeah, they invited us over there next week. The students will be there every day, and we're going to have a lot of work in there. And wait till you see it. It's beautiful what they're doing. I'll have a couple of pieces there as well. And it's just going to be fantastic.
Well, they have the little gallery there. So I'm trying to get your space. There's the little gallery, and then they have like literally the entire rest of the lobby of the hotel. Where will you all be?
So for next week, we're doing the Residency, which is small.
Okay, and what is
next November?
What are those dates for your residency?
Monday through Friday. So what is that? It's
Yeah, I want to
the
make sure that our listeners
24th
know
to the 27th.
the 26th is Monday.
Okay, 26th through the 30th.
Wow. So you're there that week,
I believe,
with some of your students, painting,
yes.
drawing.
And we're going to have a couple of apprentices there every day of the week. So you can go and you can learn a little bit about art and what we do and the tremendous skill and beauty that they're creating. Friday, the 30th, is a cocktail party from 5 to 7. And anyone is invited to come. You should come, Jeffrey.
I got to tell you, I would love it. I have always been a fan of art. I mean, I have artwork all around me all the time. Mostly because I can't paint. Like, I am not an artist in that. Like, I don't have those skills. I always appreciate what other people do that I can't do. So, I'm a fan. I mean, I have some interesting pieces.
Oh, nice.
that I surround myself with. And I love that. And I love getting this idea of how people think and how something in your mind can travel through your fingers and end up on a board or a canvas, and how unique and powerful that is. I'm a big fan. So of course, cocktail party, you got me, just for that, of course.
Awesome.
But to see some of your students and how they think and how they feel, that would be fascinating. Do people need to make reservations? Can people just show up?
No, just show up. And that's at Art Ovation. If you want a tour of the studio, just email us and we'll schedule a time we can give you a tour.
I think there are going to be people that want to do that, because this really does sound kind of fascinating.
Most people who come in are blown away. They don't know we exist here in Sarasota, And
well, we do have our cultural coast is a little jam packed with creatives. But you seem like you found a really unique niche, and that almost seems international.
Yes, and we're honored that people want to come and visit, and we do get visitors from all over. And the people who come to study are from all over. So the next big show we will have at Art Ovation isn't going to be until November, but that'll be a 6-month-long show.
Wow.
And we'll have a banquet and everything. It'll be a little bigger.
Nice. Well, that's during our festival. So our festival dates are November 8th through the 15th. So we'll probably be doing stuff there too during that time. So
perfect.
Look at our stars aligning. Don't know from this day.
Sure.
We don't know each other.
We need to do some more stuff together.
We absolutely should. And actually, that's what Sarasota Rising and the Living Arts Festival is all about. It really is getting people out into the open, and then also just helping people understand that these are people that are making their lives doing this. This isn't, of course we have people that are hobbyists and all that, but real true creatives are putting their, a little piece of themselves on the line with every canvas. And there's just something really exciting about that, and I feel the same way about great actors, that give a little bit of themselves when they're on stage. There's something really wonderful about seeing that passion. And it's mianoacademy.org. And then your personal page is, what is your personal page? I didn't write it down.
CharlesMiano.com.
CharlesMiano.com. You are fascinating. What a treat it is.
Well, thanks, Jeffrey.
And you know what? And just like that, our time is kind of almost wrapping. I hate it.
You're kidding. Well, that was fast.
No, I know. That's what chatting with friends. Time flies.
I could talk to you for a long time.
Well, I know. And I actually have a lot more questions. And this has happened before, where I've always said to Reed, I'm like, Reed, we need a session number 2. And so maybe we'll plan that. But for right now,
oh, we'd love it. Anytime.
Right now, though, get thee to Art Ovation next week at any point. Just stop by just to get a glimpse of what you're doing and get to know you just a little bit more. I will be there. I guarantee it.
Awesome. Can't wait. We'll have a drink, Jeffrey.
We'll toast to the new year because we need all the good coming our way as possible.
Oh, isn't that for sure?
Excellent, excellent. So thank you, Charles. I appreciate you. And thank you all for watching and listening behind the masterpiece. We love our conversations with our art partners, and we appreciate your listening and watching. So take good care. We'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Jeffery Kin as a part of Visit Sarasota's Behind the Masterpiece. We love listening to our arts practitioners, and we want you to listen as well. So make sure you join us at sarasotapodcast.com, and we'll see you at the next interview.